What's up, Elevator? Coach Brian here. Today's episode is going to be about one of my personal core values, which is freedom. I'm going to tell you why freedom is one of my core values. I'm going to give you an awesome tool that will help you with a bunch of things in your life, but you have to stay tuned for that one. But first, before I go any further in this episode, I do have a couple questions for you. One question is, do you know what your core values are? Have you ever written down your core values? If you do know what your core values are, how often do you look at those? So today is pretty cool because I'm going to tell you about one of my personal core values, which is freedom. So I'm going to tell you about how my brain works and why freedom is one of my core values. But the cool thing about it is I knew I was going to do this video today, but I didn't know I was going to release it on Memorial Day. As I was preparing for this video and deciding that I was going to actually get out of the office to do it, and if you are watching this on YouTube, then you can see the beautiful weather around me, that there is no bookcase behind me, which is my home office, but I'm outside. It's beautiful weather. I'm sitting in my truck, actually. I have all the windows down and the sunroof open. And this is one of those examples of freedom. And you can probably hear kids in the background. They're playing. There's some kids playing on the soccer field in the background, so you can probably hear them. If you are listening to this from the Elevate to Great podcast, then don't worry, because you can head over to the YouTube channel, Brian Robinson Coaching on YouTube, and you can watch this same message, and you get to see all the beautiful stuff. But what was really cool about me doing freedom today is realizing that Memorial Day is coming up, and I am a veteran. And a lot of times what I've seen is, it seems like sometimes people get Veterans Day and Memorial Day, they use them interchangeably, kind of, and so I've had people, because I'm a veteran, tell me on Memorial Day, send me messages thanking me for my service, which, thank you for that. Thank you for doing that. But for Memorial Day, it's more of us remembering those who paid the ultimate price and had to sacrifice their life for the freedoms that we enjoy. And so I do want to say I'm thankful. I have friends that have lost their lives in war as a military veteran. And so I want to say thank you to the families that have lost members who fought for our freedoms, and make sure that we know what Memorial Day is all about. People lost their lives so that we can be free. And it's so cool that we are living a place. I've been to different countries, and it's so cool that we live in a place where we do have these freedoms to do a lot of things that we do. And it's important that we remember that people have sacrificed for that. What about this thing of me and my personal core value of freedom? So let me tell you a little bit about that. I spoke a little bit earlier this week at my local Chamber of Commerce. I'm a member of my chamber and an ambassador, and I was honored to have the opportunity to speak to all the ambassadors as a whole. Now, what an ambassador, if you don't know what ambassador of the Chamber of Commerce is an ambassador goes out and represents the chamber to other companies that seem like a good match, that may be a good match to be members of the chamber, other businesses, companies, things like that. So ambassadors go out and do just like they are ambassadors of the chamber. So go out and recruit in a way, and represent the chamber. And ambassadors are they're usually working in another capacity. So they're either professionals or business owners, just like myself, and they're doing that job, but also they are also ambassadors of the chamber. So it was so cool to get to address this group of people who are all servant leaders, because they're professionals and business owners, and that's both too, by the way, professional business owners, but they're also ambassadors of the chamber. And so these are all servant leaders, and I'm one of them. And so I was like, this is so cool, because I get to talk to them about how their values can help them see their value. And so it was a super cool presentation, got a lot of good feedback from it. And if you would like for me to come out and speak, shameless plug here, if you want me to come out and speak for your organization, then my email address is in the show notes. That's Brian at brianrobinsoncoaching.com. I don't know. Send me an email. Let's see. Maybe we can go do that. But I did get to speak, and as I was putting together the presentation on core values and how them determining the ambassadors and determining their core values, how they can actually see their value, I had the opportunity to reflect on my core values. And as I was going back reflecting on my core values, I realized, yeah, that's right. Freedom is one of my core values. I have it written down and everything. So, why is freedom one of my core values? Well, this is why. Freedom is one of my core values because I found out through life that I wanted to have the freedom to be myself. And I also wanted to have the freedom to be positive. I wanted to have the freedom to focus on certain things. And also, it's crazy because I am truly claustrophobic, so I don't like being enclosed in spaces. And there's times where I felt claustrophobic in certain situations, even though there wasn't the literal closed in spaces, right? But it's real deal. My wife has to see me, when it comes to when we go into hotels and they are upgrading our room, so they put us on the top floor because that is supposed to be like where the really good rooms are. That's an upgrade, but for me it's not because I don't like elevators. So when I'm on the 8th floor, a lot of times I take the stairs because I am truly claustrophobic, but I'm working on it, and there's times where I just suck it up and I get in that elevator because I do that for my family. But anyways, I am truly claustrophobic, both literally and figuratively, and I found situations where I felt claustrophobic, and even though it was wide open space, because I didn't get to be myself. Freedom is one of my core values. I realized that about myself because of certain situations. A lot of people may see freedom as with a different definition, or they may see it from a different point of view. Let me explain that. Some people may see, well, I'm married, right? So I'm gonna use that as an analogy. Because I'm married and I'm in a relationship, a lot of people don't see that as having freedom. Well, I see it as being free because one of the things that I know about myself is I want to share my life with someone, right? And so if I was single, I would be looking for that special someone to share my life with because I want that in my life. And to an extent, I feel like I need that. So by me being married and having my wife and being in a relationship with my wife, what that does for me is now it takes that off the table. Now I'm free to focus on the other things now. So it's almost like, if you were hungry or thirsty, then all you would be doing is looking for food at that time because that's a need that you have, right? Well, once you get food, now you can go and you have your basic need met. So now you're free to go and do things. Now you can work and play and rest and live, right? You're free to do those things. So that's how that works. That's how my brain uses freedom in situations where another point of view may see it as a restriction. It's not a restriction for me. It frees me up. So I'm free to focus. That's one thing that I'm not thinking about. Another way that freedom shows up in my relationships is I know how I want to show up in the world. So I'm very, very particular about the relationships that I'm in because I don't want to have a negative outlook on a person or an environment. I want to have positive. I want to be free to express positive emotions about other people and about other environments. So I try to create the life to where I am in relationships with people that in my inner circle that I admire, that are very uplifting and that are, I say life-giving, that are very life-giving. And I'm not saying that they don't have bad moments and that I'm not there for them during bad moments. So that's part of being in a relationship. but there's not like the drama, or they're not drains where they just drain your energy. They're actually life-giving. So that's another way that this freedom core value shows up, and it helps me align my life in different areas. And of course, then there's my professional life, and having the freedom of doing the thing that I love to do, or doing the things that I love to do, right? And so having the relationships, the freedom that allow me to be myself, having the environments that allow me to be myself, having the professional environment, or the professional or the work that I do allow me to be myself. That's all freedom, and that's all super important to me. So my question to you is, what are your core values? And if you don't know what your core values are, that's okay, because I have something for you. So there's a link below this episode, whether it's on YouTube or on the podcast, there's a link below this episode. And in that link, you can click on it, and I will give you a free values worksheet. It's really cool because you don't have to start from scratch. So I actually have rows and rows and rows of values already there, and I have blank spaces too, in case there's something that I didn't include. But you can go through, and if you relate, you can just circle them. And then I have a process where you can narrow down, and now you can just it helps you think through, and helps you just really sort through what's really important to you. And then you're left with a short list of values that you can use to be a guide for your life, to look at and reflect on every single day when you wake up. And then you know that your life is being led from your core values. I promise you, when your life is led from your core values, life is so much better, right? Not saying things won't get rocky, but life is so much better when you led from your core values. So hopefully this has helped you. Hopefully that you just giving you a little story of one of my core values. And I'll tell you about my other core values in other videos, but this one, I really wanted to tell you about freedom, because freedom is super important to me. And I just thought it was interesting, a spin on how my brain takes the core value and uses that for my life, to the way I show up in life. So I wanted to share that with you. And again, I'm outside, and I think this is a pretty fun episode, so I may do some more of these. In the comments below, tell me what you think. I want to know some of your core values, if you know what they are. Also, do you like this format of episode? Let me know that too. And please make sure, I want to ask you, it helps me out tremendously when you, on YouTube, if you like the video, and also subscribe. And I want you to know that I really enjoy when you give me some sort of feedback, constructive feedback, and when you comment. And I want you to know that your comments definitely can help other people too. So do that. I want to foster a community of like-minded, of us, right? Like-minded people, to where we're here for each other, and we can get through this thing called life together. So thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Until then, elevate to great.